there are women in countries like India and Bangladesh who need help taking out small loans to buy milk cows and even thread to create livelihoods for themselves and families. Women all over the world are struggling, which is why we need to bring attention to moms and families in need. In Hillary Clinton's remarks to the UN in the Fourth Women's Conference in September 5, 1995, in Beijing, China, Clinton speaks to the delegates and guests at the Women's Conference. The motivation behind this speech is speaking and fighting for those who do not have a voice. This is made clear by a quote concluding her speech. "Speaking to you today, I speak for them, just as each of us speaks for women around the world who are denied the chance to go to school or to see a doctor or to even say anything about the direction of their life because they are simply women." Hillary Clinton clearly uses ethos to relate to the audience, logos to support her claim, and pathos to connect the dots between evidence and importance. She proves to her audience the importance of women's equal opportunities and overall equality. She early on created ethos and reliability by comparing herself to the average woman. She does this by saying her speech is a celebration of the contributions women make in every aspect of life. Clinton connects to all the women by repeatedly using "we" to fight for a common goal. The connection she draws between her and the audience adds to the power behind what she is saying. Clinton gives contextual evidence by citing breathtaking facts. She reports to the audience that women comprise half of the world's population. 70% of the population is poor, and 2/3 of those have not been taught to read or write. Clinton tells the audience that women are being denied the right to go to school by their own fathers and brothers and forced into prostitution. Her use of logos as a powerful rhetorical appeal, she proves to the audience what happens to women behind the scenes and why it needs to be brought to the attention of all. As her speech continues, she evokes emotion with her real-life stories that are filled with pathos. Clinton speaks about meeting with new mothers in third world countries to discuss nutrition, family planning, and baby care. She touches hearts and truly gets her point across to the whole audience. She combines logos and pathos. Quote, "When the leading cause of death worldwide for women ages 14 to 44 is the violence they are subject to in their own home by their own relatives, there is a real problem." The information she involves is purposeful and allows her to express her point in the best way. Since this speech was given, it has maintained support and continued to reach people and inform them. In the New York Times article, Hillary Clinton's Beijing speech on women resonates 20 years later, states Clinton's speech has in the last 2 decades served as a thread she has continued to reference throughout her career. The speech has emerged as a focal point for Mrs. Clinton's 2016 campaign and a reminder of her advocacy for women. New York Times addressed her speech and brought it to the attention of their audience because of its importance. Rose Helen's Hart published an article to the Ohio Communication Journal titled "Heeding the Call, Hillary Clinton's Rhetoric of Identification and Women's Human Rights at the Fourth World Conference of Women." Hart has a powerful line referring to Clinton's thesis and the power behind it. Hart says, "Clinton's thesis that women's rights are human rights resonated from a wider rights movement." Clinton precisely chose her diction, and that is apparent. From a PBS article titled "Why a 1995 Speech Proved Formative for Clinton," a quote is made about Clinton's impact. Clinton had no idea the impact the moment would make when she said, "Human rights are women's rights, and women's rights are human rights." All 3 of the outside quotes are very similar with their underlying themes. All of them show the power the speech has and continues to have. As she stated, the goal of the world is that women must enjoy the rights to participate fully in social and political lives if we want freedom and democracy to thrive and endure. She further states in her conclusion that when and if women are given the opportunities they need to succeed, their families will succeed too. Throughout her speech, she uses 3 rhetorical appeals to her advantage to prove to her audience the impact of what she has to say and how it truly affected society in 1995 and today as well.